Welcome to my channel.
Can
This
hear.
image! Why?
Yeah, I see him eat all the time.
He eats like
What am I talking about?
All the time!
Dondero.
I'm a hot mess. Okay. We have an outdoor...
Is that an outdoor kitchen?
That is an outdoor kitchen.
Door! You made her go down, though.
This is a test of our friendship.
We do the plan. Oh, what? What happened? What? What happened? What? No.
Hurry, send us out of here. I got to fart.
I'm Arugs. Welcome to my channel.
Can
This
hear.
image! Why?
Yeah, I see him eat all the time.
He eats like
What am I talking about?
All the time. Oh my God. Let's hope this works. I'm hoping this works. Okay. Well, I have had a time, folks. I have had a time. Hello. All right. Well, cool. Well, I know you guys, I'm actually like 10 minutes late, but I know you guys are expecting D101 today. But that's not happening. Thanks. Sorry. Actually, Dondero is unavailable. He is house sitting. So, hi. I said, well, fine. I'll just do in the middle early. And here I am. Hi, I am Arugs, and this is Nerd Mom Ace, and this is In the Middle. Yay! I don't even know. Hello. I have been cursing for the past about like 30, 40 minutes trying to get, I got a new setup, obviously, because I moved, and like here's the thing. We all get comfortable, right? We all get comfortable. We get everything set up just exactly how you want it. Like just exactly how you like my lighting was great. My sound is great. Yeah, I was at like all I had to do was turn on my camera, turn on my rig, and go. Wow. I got a new rig, got a new house, got a new place, got a new area. So it's like everything is, oh, I don't even hurt my head. Like, and like a new desk. So everything is freaking new. Everything's new. Everything's new, and I don't have anything how I like it. My lighting is like I like threw up these lights and this one just so that there was something in the background so I don't look like I'm freaking prison. And so here I am doing in the middle early, except I'm late. At least shit works. Yeah. So, and like this is a whole new setup, and so I don't even have my curtains up yet, and so there's a window right here, and I moved to like a family friendly neighborhood, which is fantastic. I'm so glad. Like I'm glad I'm in a good place. It's safe for my kids, and there's a bunch of but yeah, like I am backed up. Like I hear the little kids saying. I'm complaining right now. I am complaining. I know I am. I'm sorry. Hello, I am Arugs. This is in the middle where we talk mental health, where I talk about my journey, in my mental health journey, sort of what I am going through, what I'm experiencing, how I handle all of that. And see, like my mic position's not even right. I'm like, it's driving me nuts. Driving me nuts. But here we are. And so I just sort of like, I try very hard to sort of talk about my experience. And it's been 2 weeks. I know I gamed and did waking up yesterday. But that was very different. And actually something happened after, and I think I would be, if I'm going to talk about my mental health journey, I guess I'll talk about the hard shit. As I have stated before, this whole process of me getting separated and moving out and has been difficult, but I mean it's been easier in the fact that things are really, really good with the fact that we're going to therapy and we are taking this, like, we're very friendly and amicable, and we make sure that our kids are taken care of, and the focus of just the focus and making sure that they are as emotionally reassured as possible, as you can be in a difficult time. But at the same time, this is bringing back all of these traumas that I experienced when my dad left and when my parents divorced and separated, and something happened that I haven't experienced in a very, very, very long time. And it was very scary. It was very difficult. Luckily I wasn't alone when it happened. See, Rugs was here. He comes over and he helps me do some small, like, help me move some furniture that I can't move by myself. But I had for the lack of a better word, because I don't want to use this because I don't want to be disrespectful, but I had a flashback. I had a flashback, and it hit me like a Mack truck, and it was very scary and very real. And it was something else. And I couldn't stop it. It was one of those moments where, like, in DBT, or they try to tell you, emotional regulation, how to, when you're in emotional distress, what to do. And I had this flashback, and there was nothing that I could do to stop this whole thing happening in my brain. And it was incredibly frightening. And I don't think I have cried. I had cried that hard in at least a couple weeks. So I had a flashback of when I was young, and I know I have mentioned all of this before, and I had a flashback where when I came home after my parents' divorce, and I was dealing with a lot of emotional distress back then, which I didn't know was emotional distress. I was just, I was just told I was being an emotional kid. I was a basket case, which is what they tell you in the 90s, when you're 10 years old, and, the early 90s, and they're not respectful of mental health back then. And only really, truly crazy people went to therapy. And I nerdy well. Have fun doing your errands. I realized that I didn't feel safe at home emotionally. That was not after my dad left and that traumatic experience. Home was not a safe space for me. Home wasn't really a safe space for me pretty much ever. Growing up, it was not a safe space. I was always looking to get out, not be in my house. It was not a place where it was warm and welcoming and comforting. So I think what happened is when I was a kid, and after all this happened, I felt safe at school. School is where, I went to home, I went to school, and I went to church. Those were the three places I went. And so, I felt safe, and my mom was always at church too. So it wasn't really that safest space either. But I think that's why I was having all of these breakdowns at school, because at school I felt safe. At school I felt safe enough to feel these emotions. So when I got home that day, and and all that thing transpired with my mom, and I remember I couldn't stop the memory. It was like this, this bad movie in my head that just kept replaying itself over and over and over and over and over again. And it was very frightening, and it was really scary. My flashback that I had a couple days ago, and I couldn't stop, and I knew I was just gonna have to write it out, because that's what you have to do sometimes they tell you that you're just gonna have to accept that you're just gonna have to ride this wave and ride it to shore until you're safe again, and if you just and so I knew that that's what I had to do. And I couldn't even speak. It was so bad. I couldn't even speak. I was crying so hard, and I was like, I couldn't form sentences, because I was absolutely 100% transported in my brain into this situation and into this place, into this memory. And I remember, and I remember I was like, pink carpet. And Searix looks at me and goes, pink carpet. And I'm like, again, remember, I'm hysterical. I'm just hysterically crying. And I said, pink carpet, because in that moment, in the moment of me going through that flashback and reliving that traumatic moment in my head, all I could remember, I could physically feel it. Literally 30 years later, physically feel. My parents had this because it's the 90s, 'cause it was the 90s, this pink shag carpeting. And I remember when my mom, she was angry and she got physical. And I remember the feel of being, of the pink carpet. And that's what I kept reliving. I kept feeling, I could feel it on my skin. I could feel it, like I could feel it. I could smell it. And it was an experience, like that whole flashback of that traumatic moment. When I was having that PTSD and that traumatic emotional moment, that's what my body remembered. That is what my body physically remembered, was the feeling of that pink carpeting when my mother pushed me down. And I was sitting there and she was towering over me and telling me that, no, this, you don't tell anybody. And I was, it was like, I don't know if anybody else has ever experienced a flashback, especially one that is a traumatic flashback, and your brain just goes, okay, we're doing this right now. We're going to remember this moment. We're going to face this moment. We're going to relive this moment. And there is, it was, I was literally it was like a movie. It was like when you see in a movie and you were transported back to that moment. That's what it was like in my head. And I couldn't, I wanted to stop. I tried to do all the things I wanted, but it was almost like I was pushed off a cliff, because I went from 0 to 120 in no seconds flat. And I remember that's like, I looked at, Stewart was like, are you doing okay? Like, are you okay? And I just, a wall dropped, and it was a flood, and I was reliving that moment. And I got through it, and Stewart was great. He was great. He didn't leave me alone, but I mean, he was there, and he was great. Because I don't know where, like, I hadn't experienced something like that in an incredibly long time. So it was really scary. It was really scary. And it is because when you're reliving that trauma, you are going through it again. And I didn't understand why. And I still don't 100% understand why I had, and sometimes you can't, sometimes you'll never know. Sometimes you don't know why the flashbacks happened, why a moment like that happens. And especially with somebody with BPD, you just don't know. When you already have a mental illness, you just don't know. And I really, honestly, I think I ran smack into a trigger. And that feeling of, I don't know what safe is. I don't know. And home very rarely has been a safe space for me, ever. So I moved to this new place, and obviously, and I am looking at this, and it's like, okay, this is my home. This is my home. And I think maybe, and I don't know why, and this is all speculation, and this is me just sort of deconstructing what happened. And still a little raw and a little fresh, and I haven't really had a lot of time to think about it. And I think it's like, and I think it's like, is it because I actually feel safe? Was I triggered not because of something bad that happened, not because something bad was happening to me, but because I was in a space, I was in a place that is mine. This is my house. This is my space. This is a safe space for me now. And I think I don't know. I'm not a therapist, and I'm just over here just thinking out loud. It's like maybe for the first time my brain went, let's process this. You're in a safe space now. You're in a place that is safe, and you are in a mental and emotionally healthy place enough that maybe it's time for us to face this and process this event. Have I completely deconstructed it? No, but I definitely opened a floodgate. Fun times. I think another thing that might have pushed me in that direction was that my therapist was like, okay, now what your assignment, because my therapist loves to give assignments. So yeah, it's like, things we need to work on, things we need to contemplate, things we need to really, consider. She's like, I need you to really start writing down and really journaling and really thinking and thinking about, now that you've taken this big step, now that you've taken this big step, and you're going to take another one, here soon. And now that you are doing these big things, and you are taking control of your life, and you are now taking accountability for your life and responsibility for your life, what do you want that to look like? Nobody's telling you what to do. Nobody's telling you how to feel. Nobody's telling you what you should and shouldn't be. What do you want? And it hit me. I don't know. I'm just trying to process the here and now. I don't know what I want. I don't know what to do. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. And I think also I'm sharing. I'm allowing myself to be vulnerable. I am sharing my pain and my hurt, and I am being honest. I think also another thing that is really hitting me hard is I am trying to be appropriately honest with my children about what I'm going through and how I'm feeling and what I'm thinking. And I think that that's what I didn't get growing up. I didn't get honesty, and I didn't get to be honest. I didn't get to be honest with myself. I didn't get to be honest with others, and I was punished if I was honest with others. And I think that is important to recognize. I wasn't allowed to be honest about how I was feeling, what I was thinking. I wasn't allowed. I literally was punished or shunned or rejected. I was rejected a lot. Go away. Pull yourself together and then I'll talk with you. Or Stop crying or I'll give you something to cry about. I don't know if any of y'all got that one. That was a popular one back when we were younger. Stop crying or I'll give you something to cry about. Don't hurt. Don't be sad. Don't be petulant. Don't be angry. Don't be any of that. Don't need. Don't want. That's my whole family, right, Calvino? And I think I know. I'm allowing myself to be honest to myself, to my kids, to my friends, to my loved ones, to you guys. I am allowing myself to be honest and vulnerable. And it's getting easier. And I feel safe. And I think I do a lot of inner child work and inner young adult work, or inner adolescent work, whatever you want to call it. And my inner child and I are going through some shit together. And it's okay. My therapist tells me that too. And I love how I've become that person. Well, my therapist says. My inner child and I are going through some shit. And she's always, my therapist she tells me, we are all becoming that person. Yeah. We're doing it together. And she's like, you are developing this really good relationship with your inner child. And you just need to know that she's about to go through some stuff. And you need to be there. And you need to remember and remind her. And it sounds a little, if you're thinking about it, your inner child is just you. Yeah, but there is a part of, if you've ever gone through trauma, especially at a young age and consistently through a young age, there is a part of you. And that part of that inner child. And then there's that inner young adult. And having to connect with that part of yourself and heal that part of yourself. When you hear in all these self-help and mental health things about reparenting yourself, it is very much that. And I think all of this that I'm going through right now, I am not only trying to navigate the waters of being a good parent to my girls and my children. At the same time, I am trying to navigate reparenting myself through this situation with my inner child. Because the first time I experienced this as a child was horrendous and extremely traumatic. And it was life-changing in not one of those life-changing, well, of course, any type of separation is life-changing, but life-changing in a way that it completely changed my personality, my thought processes, and probably was a catalyst for my BPD. So let's talk about that. Yeah, great. It was a very defining moment in my life that I can tell you. Between the ages of 9 and 10. 9 and 10. I became a completely different person. And I'm starting to see that now. And I'm not saying that I'm a bad person now, because I'm not. I think I'm a great person. I'm good looking, I'm smart, I'm kind. I've got all these great attributes. I do. I'm a good person. I'm great. I have this great personality, and I'm quirky and all of these wonderful things. I am a great person. But what I became and tried to project was a different person. And I'm discovering that now. I have always been who I am. I've always thought how I thought. I've always been who I am. I am this person. I am not kind and caring and giving because I am traumatized. I'm starting to discover that is just who I am. I'm silly and I'm weird and I'm dark and twisted, but that's the trauma. But you know what? I'll take it. I'm loud and I'm inappropriate. And that's all okay. But what I tried to become and project was not that. That's what we love about you. I'm so glad, Kevin. That moment, that year of my life, changed me forever. And I can sit here and I can mourn the person that I could have become. You know, I could sit here and go coulda, shoulda, wouldas, but what's the point? Because the reality is, I didn't disappear. I didn't disappear just because I put that child, that person, before that traumatic event. Just because I put my inner child and I put her in a closet and I just said, we're just going to put you there and we're not going to think about you. I didn't disappear. I just created somebody different. So who I am never went away. And I think, again, I'm still trying to process all that happened. I think maybe that's what my inner child was trying to tell me when I was having that flashback. That she never left. And I think I'm starting to feel more like that person. Like that Arugs. And it's slow. And it's scary. And it's not comfortable. Because I still have to weed the garden before I can plant the flowers. And it's still okay. But fuck, it was fucking scary. It was scary. It was scary. It was scary. And I couldn't stop it. And God knows I wanted to. I can't. Like I kept saying, I can't. That was like the only words I could get out for a good solid 10 minutes. It's like I could barely breathe. And I just kept saying, I can't. And Sarah's like, can't what? Like, what can't? Like, yes, you can. Yes, I'm like, no, I can't. And then the only other phrase I could say, I could get out of my mouth was pink carpet. And Chris goes, what? He's like, pink carpet? Are like he was starting to get a little concerned. No, Calvino, if you missed it, when I was talking about pink carpet, I was having a mental flashback, a highly emotional flashback. I don't want to say PTSD because I don't know if that's what it was or not. I don't want to label it, but I know it was a flashback of and that was the moment my mom got a little aggressive when she found out I was trying to seek help, when I was trying to seek help. And yeah, so all I could have during that flashback, and my brain went like I said, my brain went from 0 to 120. There was no stopping it. It just hit me, and I was riding that tsunami all the way to shore. Like there was just no stopping it. There was no skill that I had. I just had to ride that wave, and it was scary. And it really was like I was reliving that moment, and it was terrible. And I know that we're not supposed to say that, but it was very hard. And the only thing that my body remembered, was the feel of the pink shag carpeting in our den when I fell down. And I remember the feel of it. I could feel it on my hands. I could feel it on my skin. I could smell it. Like it was overwhelming, to say the least. And because my parents chose pink shag carpeting for the den because it was the 90s. I'm in this new house. I'm in this new place. I'm in a new situation. And I'm facing a lot of change. I'm also growing, and I'm healing. And that's something else too. And it's all good. Not good or bad. It's all growth. And I think I'm finally in a place where I do feel safe and at peace. And it's very fucking unsettling. And you think it wouldn't be. You think, why would that be unsettling? It should feel good, right? It should feel like really good that you're in a place where you feel at peace and you feel safe and you feel at a place, and you're in a place now that where you can grow and you can learn and you can heal, and you made these choices so that you can heal and grow and do these things, right? Like it's all, I don't know how. That's the reality of it. I don't know how. I don't know how to be at peace. I don't know how to feel safe. I don't know. I don't know that feeling. I don't know how to be, just exist. And just exist. Not exist in the who I'm trying to be or what I'm trying to do or who I'm just trying in general. It is, I don't know how to just exist as I am. No more, no less. I don't know what being at peace with myself is like. And here's the thing. It all goes back to that moment. That moment where I was told, it doesn't matter how you feel. You suck it up. Put on a brave face. You smile, and it is no one's business what goes on or how much you're hurting. No comfort, no validation. You will put on a brave face. You will act like everything's okay, and you will keep your mouth shut. And that changed me. That's what I learned. That's what I did. I learned how to be on edge. I learned how to adapt. I learned how to be hypervigilant. I learned how to smile through the pain. I learned how to pretend like everything was okay. I learned how to disassociate and not feel my feelings. I learned how to separate myself from my body and just go through the motions and not feel and not connect. I don't know how to be settled and be at peace and be okay and just exist. And my therapist goes, okay, you're right. You don't know how to, but you're gonna learn. I have to be purposeful about it. I have to be aware. I have to be accepting and non-judgmental. I have to let my thoughts and my feelings happen. And I just have to exist. Not try, just exist. And that's freaking hard. Especially when you would think it's just, oh, well, you just don't try. Well, that's not that easy. Easy, hard. I shouldn't say things like that. I know. It's just a skill I haven't learned yet. And my flashback hit me hard. And I had to face the reality that I spent a lot of time not facing. Years. Decades. But I faced it. I rode that tsunami all the way to shore. And I came out the other side. I was shaken, a little disoriented. But I felt that after experiencing that, there was a piece of me that was like, it isn't nearly as scary now. I think I was feeling and having that flashback of my inner child and that moment. And now, when going through it as an adult, it doesn't seem nearly as scary. And it allowed me the opportunity to reassure my inner child that everything is going to be okay. And that I was safe. And that everything is going to be fine. That's nice. I'm getting used to the quiet. I have my girls right now because Arugs is at a meeting, but last night was the first night I didn't have my kids with me, and it was so quiet. But it wasn't scary. It was unsettling because I'm used to constant noise. Constant. But it wasn't scary. And I'm having to learn and how to be alone and it not be a punishment. 48 hours is all you need, right? Being alone is not a punishment. Because that's what I learned too. I learned growing up that being alone is a punishment. That's why I could never be alone. Oh my God. Ask Pep Pep. Ask Pep Pep or anybody I went to college with. I couldn't even walk from the music building to the university center, which was literally 20 feet from door to door by myself. I couldn't go anywhere by myself. Hey, go with me. Hey, come with me. Hey, I need you to go with me. I could not be by myself. Yeah, you remember Pip. I couldn't be by myself and I thought like, okay, like why can't, like what is that? And through my treatment and my healing and my therapy sessions, I discovered it was because, and especially now, because when we were talking up to the move, when me and my therapist and I, whatever, we're talking all the way up to the move, because I was absolutely terrified of being alone. Terrified, like terror, like, you know, that terror of like a phobia, like can't breathe. Yes, that I was terrified. And what I discovered was, and unpacked, was that because being alone was a punishment growing up for me. If I needed comfort, or I was I was crying, or I was upset or something, like, go away until you settle yourself down. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. I don't have time right now. Go to your room. Go to your room and figure it out, and you can come back out when you've pulled yourself together. You know, and there are times like that where you do, like, you need that moment. You need, like, the kids, like, they really can't, and you're like, you need that moment. But it was constant. Being alone meant rejection. Being alone was a punishment. Being alone was not something to be welcomed. Being alone was something bad that you didn't want. And so it's just, so I'm having to learn all these things that seem like they aren't. I'm having to learn these things that seem like should be simple things that you should do. Like, you should just know how to exist in your head, and you should just know how to be alone. And some people love being alone, and they like, it doesn't matter. And some people love being alone because they're traumatized, and that's how they experience their trauma, is trying to isolate themselves. But I'm not a therapist, but that there is an opposite end of the spectrum. Whereas we have those people like me who, like, are anxious attachment and need to be with somebody all the freaking time. And then you have those people who are just completely isolate themselves so that they don't have to deal with their traumas. And there's that. And then you just have the introverts who just like being alone, and that's okay. And well, now I'm feeling attacked. It's not about you, Pep. I am having to reparent my inner child and be a parent to my kids. It's all okay. And I know more days and more moments and more episodes like the one I experienced are probably on the horizon. And that's what's going to happen. And it's all okay. I have to keep telling myself that. It's all going to be okay. And you can't stop the pain, and you can't stop the trauma, and you can't stop the things that have happened to you, and you can't stop the things of how, like, your brain is adapted to survive. but you can be aware of them. And some of them you can relearn, and then some of them you have to just be aware of. And then when your brain does that thing, you just got to go, okay, I'm doing this thing. I need to redirect. I need to, some things you relearn and become automatic. Some things that are just things you do. And then you're just going, I'm doing the thing. I need to like do something else. I am becoming more of myself. And I am allowing myself the space, because this is now my space. And it's scary. And I am afraid. But I know I'm safe. My daughters, on moving day, we were going back and forth between the two houses, and my daughters were in the back seat, and they are feeling emotional as well, and just allow them the space to feel emotional. And we were talking, and I'm in the top 8. You just showed your age, Calvino. I just showed mine because I knew exactly what you were talking about. But my girls are sitting in the back seat, and Nora goes, Mom, we did a big thing today. And Chloe pipes up, but we were brave. And I started to cry. I said, yes, babies, we did a big thing today, but we were brave. And we're going to continue to do big things. And we're going to continue to be brave. And it was comforting. And it was sweet. And it was reassuring. And it was a reminder to myself that we can do big things. And we can do big things and be brave. And that's pretty fucking cool. I'm feeling all the feelings right now. And I wish I could have something great and inspiring and not trauma dumping on my entire community. But here I am. And I might have to reconfigure my desk. I got a new desk, and it's a U-shaped desk, and I'm a hand talker, and I keep hitting my hands on the side of the desk. I'm feeling all the things. I'm feeling anxiety because I literally, like, my desk, like, you can't see, like, first off, nothing's on the walls. Like, nothing is on the walls, and that drives me nuts. And then there's shit all over the floor, and there are boxes, and that brings, I feel like the walls are, like, everything's caving in on me. I can't find anything in my room. I can't. Like, they're all still in boxes. And your trauma. Thanks. And then I'm feeling good. I'm feeling like, okay, well, once I unpack a box, I'm feeling accomplished, and I'm in this house, and it's a really cute house. It's a cute house, and my girls like it, and I have cute stuff for it, and people are giving me all sorts of things, and it's really cute, and I feel good about that, and I'm like, okay, and it's my space, and I feel good, and then I feel sad because I feel sad because I'm here and I'm having to do, I made these hard choices, and I'm sad because of where I'm at right now, and what I'm going through is sad, and that's okay. It's okay to feel sad. It's okay to feel all the sadness, and I feel anxious and happy and overwhelmed and accomplished and like a badass and excited because I can walk around in my underwear when I want. And I'm feeling all the things. But what I am enjoying, deep down, at the root of all of this, all of the waves that I'm riding, I'm enjoying how the emotions aren't overwhelming anymore. I'm enjoying knowing how to feel. And even when I have a flashback like I did the other night, even when the feelings are so overwhelming and I'm having this, this complete, utter whatever I had, like this complete other emotional thing that overwhelmed me to the point I like could barely breathe. That's an isolated incident. It's no longer me feeling. Everything is so big. All these big emotions that seem insurmountable. I'm finally learning how to navigate feeling hurt and accepting sadness and accepting pain and accepting anxiety and accepting those things, that they are feelings. They are not bad. They are not good. They are just what I'm feeling at the moment. And that's the biggest thing I am appreciating about where I'm at. Is I am not beating myself up for having feelings. And that is growth. Because from that moment when I came home and my mom told me that it is nobody's business and I will learn how I will learn how to put on a brave face and act right. From that moment, I beat myself up for having feelings. I learned that my inner child, I learned that any feelings that weren't happy and pleasant were bad, and I wasn't allowed to have them. But I am in a place where I am not beating myself up for having bad feelings. And not bad feelings, just having feelings. And I like that. I like being able to face all the uncomfortable feelings with acceptance and non-judgment. It's not all the time and it's not consistent. And, in some moments I am incredibly judgmental of myself and I'm judgmental of other people and I'm a lot of things. But it's nice. Even in the uncomfortable, painful moments. It's nice to recognize the growth and be aware of it and know that I can face it. And I think the thing that I learned about myself when I had the flashback the other day, I learned I never once felt like I was going to drown in that flashback, in that moment, in those feelings, even though it was painful and it was frightening, and it was just something I was just going to have to ride out, and it was something that I was just experiencing. I never felt like I was going to drown in my emotion. I never felt like it was going to get the better of me. I just knew that it was just something I was going to have to ride out. And I was just going to have to just feel and experience. That's all of it was. And I did. And the storm did end. I know when I was having the flashback, I kept saying, I can't. And what I was trying to say was, I can't stop the thoughts. I can't stop this flashback. I couldn't stop it no matter what. That's what I was trying to say. And C. Arugs was there, and he's like, yes, you can. Yes, you're going to get there. Because before I kept saying, I can't get through this. I'm not going to get through this. But I remember saying, I can't. And I kept trying to get out the whole sentence, and I couldn't do it. I was just like, I can't stop the thoughts. I can't stop it. I can't stop the thoughts. I can't stop this. I can't stop this moment, this reliving this moment that I was just living through all over again. And that's what I wanted to say, but I couldn't say that. And I remember for a moment feeling frustrated, because I knew what was coming out was I can't, and how he was taking it was how I used to, like how in the past I was saying, I can't, because I can't, I'm not going to get through this. I'm not going to be able to get through this. I'm not going to survive this. Like I know that that's what he was interpreting, and he justifiably was like that interpretation is justifiable, because before that's how I felt. Before that's how I approached it. Before that's what I truly thought, that I wasn't going to survive, that I wasn't going to get through whatever that overwhelming experience that I was having at that moment. But I remember being frustrated. Bye, Calvino. I remember being frustrated because I kept saying I can't, and he's like, yes, you can. And he was being very reassuring, very kind. But I was like, that's not what I mean. I know I'm going to get through this. I know that. That's not what I mean. And that's growth. Because it's not overwhelming. And that's great. Okay. And with that, thank you for an early edition of In the Middle. Thank you for letting me talk, letting me emote. I don't have anything inspirational. I don't have any go get him, Tiger, because right now I'm just trying to be honest. I'm just trying to take it one moment at a time. Unpack one box at a time and try to exist right now. So no inspiration. No. This week it's just existing. I'm just learning how to exist. Who knows? We'll see what happens in 2 weeks. Let's see where I'm at in 2 weeks. Because let's see, I will be 2 weeks into my new job. So cool. Actually 1 week into my new job. So yay! I don't know. I just decided, fuck it. If we're gonna make all these changes, let's do it all at fucking once. Anyway, thank you for joining me on In the Middle. I am absolutely in the middle of this journey. Oh, let's just hang on for the ride, shall we? Tomorrow we have BSBN Gaming at 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central. I do not have my touch portal set up, so I can't share the links with you. But, like, follow, subscribe, all of us. Go join our Discord. It's on BSBN, Blue Skirt Boy Network, and that is in Discord. And also all of the BSBN have their own channels on our Discord server. And so at 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central, it's BSBN Gaming. And then at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central, we have Zartner After Dark with our amazing Nev. And then on Wednesday, I will be back for the Weebs, Dweebs, and Interweebs podcast. And then that's on twitch.tv/The Dondero. And that's at 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central. So thank you for joining me. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and I will check you guys later.